The time now is 11:42. I'm Megan Fee back at the WKRN.com alert desk following some break.
Yeah, so I felt God speaking to me, and
What's really going on with this world, when in just a short time, all the familiar order keeps collapsing right in front of us? The feeling of unease spreads faster than the news. Time feels squeezed, short, and the future suddenly becomes a big question mark hanging there. From huge accidents in ice and snow, uprisings against control, stories from people who crossed the line between life and death, to massive explosions, strange sounds from the sky, odd things on the moon, glowing cloud swirls, hard to explain cloud formations, and shocking images from high up. 10 phenomena, coming one after another, not scattered, impossible to ignore. We'll keep going to face the answers, still waiting ahead for ourselves. If a prayer rises up in your heart, leave it in the comments as an act of faith in the middle of all this uncertainty. And now, we're going to start right with 1. Big pileup crash on Michigan Interstate. A huge chain reaction crash happened on Interstate 196 inches, Michigan, when a fierce snowstorm hit the Hudsonville area in Ottawa County. It turned that main highway into total chaos with no way out. News came in fast over just a few hours, and you could tell right away this wasn't just another traffic report. It was one of those moments when everything spins out of control. Michigan folks are used to tough winters, but that morning, the road was covered in ice and snow, and you could barely see a thing. On the stretch connecting Grand Rapids to nearby areas, cars and trucks started sliding, spinning, and slamming into each other in seconds. Hundreds of people, long-haul truck drivers, families on the road, got caught up in this freezing mess caused by nature gone wild. Matthew 24:7-8 talks about stuff like this in the world. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. From up above, drone footage showed a sight that takes your breath away. More than 100 vehicles, including over 30 big heavy trucks, piled up over several miles, with white smoke and cold vapor rising from the twisted metal. At least 9 to 12 people got hurt and were taken to nearby hospitals like Spectrum Health Zeeland Community Hospital. According to Fox News, the whiteout conditions dropped visibility to almost zero, so drivers couldn't react at all, turning about 5 miles of the highway into a real icy trap. Luke 21:11 describes times like these too. There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven. Some say it's just an accident from extreme weather, something that happens every winter. But weather experts confirmed the snow amount and storm strength here were way above average for many years, showing how nature's getting more unstable. When things like this keep happening so often, they don't stay separate anymore. They start feeling like a quiet string of warnings. So this crash on the Michigan highway doesn't just show how fragile we are against nature. It also hints at something deeper, about the growing disorders spreading around. If this is only the start of a bigger chain of events, what's coming next is still unknown, and it makes us keep our eyes open. We can't look away. 2. The uprising against digital ID in London, seen as the awakening of young people. The scenes aren't some calm parade. It's a huge crowd surging through central London, flags and signs held high, chants echoing off the old buildings like waves crashing on rocks. People are packed in tight, moving fast, eyes intense. It's chaos tearing through the usual city order. Right in the middle of that flow, messages against digital ID are everywhere, spreading like wildfire. Handmade signs, loud group shouts, raised fists. It's real pressure on the government. You can feel the uneasy heartbeat of a generation scared they'll be tracked every step under the excuse of protection. The heart of this wave is around Broadcasting House, where young people are gathering to push back against the bill tied to kids' welfare and schools. Streets heading to Whitehall fill up fast, traffic stops dead, police put up soft barriers to avoid direct clashes, but tension keeps rising. Videos spreading online show shoving, police sirens cutting through chants, and a thick atmosphere full of conflict. Some see digital ID as the hard line for personal freedom. Others think it's a needed step to keep kids safe online. The clash of views turns the streets into a heated debate. The argument quickly grows bigger than the protest itself. Supporters stress safety. The tech can cut crime and help protect vulnerable people. Opponents warn about widespread surveillance, data misuse, and dangerous precedents for privacy. Both sides argue harder and harder, but they all claim to be protecting society's future. In all this, the Bible comes up a lot as a warning. Revelation 13:16-17 says, "It also forces all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name." Those old words echo in our digital age, making fears of total control feel even stronger. And it doesn't stop there. 2 Timothy 3:1-5 gets quoted too, like a mirror to today. In the last days, there will be terrible times when people chase self-interest, power, and pleasure, ignoring core values. These verses ring like an alarm bell amid the tech wave. In the end, even if the government tweaks or pauses the plan, the echo of this uprising still hangs over London. Tech keeps moving forward. The debate has no end in sight, and the warning rings clearer than ever. Waking up isn't just on the streets. It's in how we all choose humanity's future. 3. Billy Garaffa's story of meeting the Lord from the other side. It all happened so fast that the line between life and death just about disappeared. A body collapsed onto the cold ice, with a sharp thud echoing across the busy hockey rink. His heart stopped. Time froze. And we're left standing there, quietly facing how fragile life really is. One heartbeat can change everything. It took place in Florida during what seemed like a regular game. Billy Garaffa suddenly dropped right on the ice. His teammates were stunned. The crowd went silent, and the medical team rushed in, racing against the clock as every second brought the risk of something they couldn't undo. From the videos and reports that Fox News covered, Billy was clinically dead for 16 minutes. In that darkness, he says he didn't feel any fear at all. Instead, he was surrounded by bright light, a sweet smell, and a peace beyond words. He told how he met God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus, a moment that completely changed his faith. Those accounts got even stronger in later interviews and podcasts, when his wife Isabella shared what it was like to watch him come back to life, like a miracle, right in everyday life. Doctors and medical experts explain that lack of oxygen to the brain can cause powerful hallucinations. But they also admit science still can't fully explain the vivid, consistent feelings people have in near-death experiences like this. Looking at the Bible, Revelation 1-7 brings another layer of meaning. Look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn because of him. Yes, Amen. Those words sound like a reminder that what some people see isn't just for this temporary world. Then, Acts 2:17 says it clearly. In the last days, God says, "I will pour out my Spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy, your young men will see visions, your old men will dream dreams." Near-death moments suddenly feel like pieces we can't ignore in a much bigger picture. Billy insists what he went through was more real than this life. Even with some doubts out there, his story has quietly woken up something deep in a lot of people. If one person can come back after crossing that final line, How many other quiet warnings might be happening all around us, waiting to be noticed before the door closes? 4. Iran freedom protest. Outside the BBC, the mood in central London heated up minute by minute. The area around Broadcasting House was blocked off. Police put up metal barriers. Helicopters circled overhead, and more people kept pouring in with loud, steady chants. Political pressure, media coverage, and raw community emotion all crashed together right in the heart of a city that's used to protests, but rarely this tense. Things on the streets escalated fast. Groups held up old Iranian flags, carried photos of victims, and shouted slogans calling for an end to the crackdown. The crowd filled the sidewalks and blocked nearby roads. Security forces had to split the people into sections to prevent clashes. In that chaotic scene, you could really feel the quick pulse of a crisis that's no longer contained inside one country's borders. Videos spreading on social media captured tense moments, like one person climbing onto the balcony of the diplomatic building and tearing down the Tehran regime's symbol, which set off a huge emotional roar from the crowd below. Other clips showed protesters facing police barriers, with sirens blaring non-stop, creating a heavy chain of tension for anyone watching live. According to reports from BBC and France 24, this event is part of a worldwide wave of protests against the violence and internet shutdowns in Iran, where the number of casualties from the street demonstrations has risen sharply in a short time. Some Western governments issued diplomatic warnings, while human rights groups kept pressing for international accountability. In the middle of all this, the Bible comes across like a calm but stern indictment. Matthew 24:6-7 says, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." Those words don't take sides, but they lay bare a repeating pattern in human history. Daniel 7:25 goes on like a further charge. It will speak words against the Most High, oppress the saints of the Most High, and intend to change the times and the law. When power and faith get twisted, conflict stops being an accident. It becomes the inevitable result. World opinion is sharply divided. One side sees this as a rightful call for freedom and human rights. The other side worries that getting involved will push geopolitical tensions out of control. Between those two views, where do you stand? Do you put stability and order first, or speak out against injustice? No matter how you look at it, what happened outside the BBC wasn't just another protest. It mirrors a world where nations are clashing more and more. And the question still hanging is, while this fire is still burning, where will the next flashpoint break out? 5. The horrific explosion at Beirut port. A blinding flash tore across the Beirut sky. Then a huge mushroom cloud rose straight up from the harbor. The shockwave swept through the city like an invisible hammer. The blast roared, windows shattered, buildings shook violently, and in just seconds, a busy city center was thrown into total chaos, with no way out. Beirut has always been the economic heart of Lebanon, with its ports supporting millions of people and linking this small country to the world. But right there in the port, about 6 million pounds of ammonium nitrate had been left forgotten for years in a rundown warehouse. No real safety measures, no clear warnings. The whole city had been living with this massive danger without realizing it, until that quiet time bomb finally went off. Security camera footage and cell phone videos captured the moments before disaster. Smoke rising, a small fire, then a blinding white flash that swallowed everything. The explosion was so powerful, it was compared to an earthquake of about 3.3 on the Richter scale. The shockwave traveled miles, wrecking even neighborhoods deep in the city. Familiar streets turned into piles of rubble in an instant. Reports say 218 people lost their lives, more than 7,000 were injured, and around 300,000 lost their homes. Hospitals were overwhelmed, rescue teams dug through debris with bare hands, and people wandered among broken glass, searching for loved ones. In that moment, we had to face the cold truth about the cost of long-term carelessness and indifference. The Bible gives an early warning in Luke 21:11. There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven. Those great signs don't just come from nature, they can explode from human mistakes too. Later investigations showed responsibility spread around, paperwork delayed, and justice left hanging. Many officials were questioned, but no final judgments came, leaving deep anger simmering among the people. The disaster didn't end when the smoke cleared. It lives on in distrust and broken society. Revelation 16:18 describes, "Then there came flashes of lightning, rumblings, peals of thunder, and a severe earthquake. No earthquake like it has ever occurred since mankind has been on earth." Reading those words again, the Beirut explosion feels less like a single accident and more like a wake-up call for a world playing with destruction. Some say it was just an industrial mishap from poor management, but that same weakness, happening over and over in cities and countries, is what's truly frightening. When people get used to risks and ignore the consequences, disaster is just waiting for the right moment. Beirut collapsed in one afternoon, leaving a lesson written in blood and tears. And the question still hangs in the air. If a bomb like that could sit for years in the middle of a city, what other place is quietly waiting its turn? 6. Mysterious sounds from the Tennessee sky. Folks stood still in their yards, in parking lots, out in the fields, heads tilted up at the clear blue sky, while a long, deep rumbling sound ripped through the quiet. Right then, you could feel the line between everyday normal and something strange getting broken wide open. Tennessee usually means wind moving through the hills, bugs chirping, and that slow, easy country life in America. But in Middle Tennessee, and then spreading over toward Oak Ridge and Knoxville, these odd noises started showing up. No heads up, no obvious cause. They weren't thunder, weren't airplanes, and definitely not any regular outdoor sound people know. Videos popped up fast on TikTok and Facebook, all with the same scene repeating. A metallic rumble rolls down from the sky, lasting around 30 seconds, sometimes low, sometimes climbing higher, sending dogs into a barking frenzy, birds scattering everywhere, and people just frozen in place. Plenty of clips from different angles, different days, but the sound stays almost identical. So it's not some one-off random thing. News from WKRN and big threads on Reddit say the same thing's been happening in East Tennessee too. Some folks call it a skyquake. Others say it reminds them of the horns in War of the Worlds. What stands out? No reports of military jets, no training drills, no strange weather matching the times it happens. Experts jumped in with the usual guesses. The American Meteor Society looked for fireballs, but there were no trails or paths to match. Some geologists brought up frostquakes, but the cold hasn't been nearly harsh enough. The science explanations come up, then the real evidence knocks them back. Right there in that dead-end spot, the Bible comes in, not to toss science aside, but to shine a different light. Joel 2:1 says, "Blow the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm on my holy mountain. Let all the people of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord is coming, it is near." In Scripture, sounds from the sky have never been everyday signals. Revelation 8:5 adds, "There were peals of thunder, rumblings, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake." Science sees unexplained sound waves. The Bible sees a larger plan starting to move. Both ways of looking sit right there together. And the real question is, which one feels right to you? One thing's clear. This isn't rare anymore. It's showing up in other states across the country, keeps coming back, and keeps pushing against every final answer. The silence after each rumble doesn't bring peace. It just leaves a big empty space full of questions. If it's only some natural physical event, why does it keep hitting so many places, so often? And if it's a sign, what exactly is it getting folks ready for? When the sky starts talking, the issue isn't whether we hear it, it's whether we're truly listening. 7. Strange phenomenon on the moon. The silver light spreads evenly, calm and steady, with no ripples or changes, until something unusual slowly starts to show. In the middle of that peaceful scene, a sharp line appears, making the whole view look different, as if the normal order is being touched. That line doesn't stay still. It moves slowly across the moon's surface, giving the feeling of a slice sliding through the light. The motion doesn't look like cloud shadows or something flying by. It's steady and seems purposeful. Overall, it feels like we're seeing something that doesn't easily fit the usual explanations from old-school astronomy. Videos recorded from different places quickly spread on YouTube and Reddit. From the US to Europe, people watching through their own telescopes all noticed the same thing. The line shows up at one edge, moves toward the other side, then disappears. Some clips even show the bright surface shifting slightly, making it seem the moon isn't as completely still as we've always thought. It didn't stop with just one case. Similar things kept coming up. Some videos showed gentle waves spreading across the surface, like something underneath is moving. Others capture the moon's image looking offset, out of place, for a few short seconds. When you put all these observations together, the natural question comes up: what could cause changes like this happening at the same time? Faced with those images, doubt came up fast. Many said it's just digital zoom errors or tricks of the eye. But frame-by-frame checks show the movement happens steadily over time, not a single glitch. And with so many independent observers seeing the same thing, the simple explanations start to feel pretty weak. In that setting, the Bible suddenly comes to mind as an interesting reference. Joel 2:31 says, "The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes." That prophecy doesn't explain how, but it pictures the sky as a place where big signs will appear before a major turning point. Then Luke 21:25 adds, "There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity." When you place those ancient words next to today's images, the connection makes you stop and think, as if what was once spoken is starting to take shape. If the moon isn't completely silent anymore, those hard-to-understand movements might just be the beginning. We're looking at a mystery that doesn't have a full answer yet, and the question still hanging is, what will the next thing in the sky reveal? 8. Swiss sky with strange blue-green swirling clouds. The sky over Switzerland looked like something out of a dream, where the clouds didn't just drift along like normal. Instead, they twisted into one huge spiral. Right in the middle of that big swirl was a deep, round hole that gave off this soft blue-green glow, kind of cold-looking but hard to look away from. When you saw it, your eyes just got stuck there, like the sky was trying to tell us something we haven't figured out yet. The swirl didn't show up during a big storm or anything wild. The weather was pretty calm otherwise. The clouds rolled into a perfect spiral shape, giving it a real 3D feel, almost like a giant whirlpool, just hanging up in the air. That blue-green light in the center didn't flicker on and off. It spread out nice and even. The whole thing was beautiful, but it also felt a little unsettling, like something that shouldn't really be there in our everyday sky. From what folks shared on social media and in the news around the world, this got caught on camera from different spots all over Switzerland. Some pictures showed the swirling clouds covering almost the whole sky for a few minutes, making it feel like space itself was bending. That weird feeling naturally makes you wonder, if this is just weather, why does it look so perfect and have such an odd color? Some early explanations tied the blue-green light to things we've seen in Europe before, like leftover rocket fuel trails or effects from geomagnetic storms. But when you look closer at the shape and the timing, it doesn't quite match up. Reports say there wasn't any rocket launch right then, and the geomagnetic conditions weren't strong enough to make a clear vortex like this. Right where the science data meets this strange stuff, people start bringing up the Bible as a way to make sense of it. Luke 21:11 says, "There will be great earthquakes, and in various places famines and pestilences, and there will be terrors." and great signs from heaven. It doesn't describe the exact shape, but it does point out that the sky will show some frightening signs. Then Revelation 4-5 adds more. From the throne come flashes of lightning and rumblings and peals of thunder. Before the throne burn 7 torches of fire. That light coming from the center of the cloud swirl, when you put it next to this verse, makes you think of a light that's more than just normal physics, something with deeper meaning. Revelation 16:18 ramps it up. There were flashes of lightning, rumblings, peals of thunder, and a great earthquake such as there had never been since man was on the earth. Reading these lines while looking at the warped clouds, the warning feels pretty clear, like the normal order of things is being shaken. If that swirling cloud with the blue-green light isn't just some random thing, then the question still hanging out there is, what other sights might the sky show us next? And where will the next sign show up? 9. A strange whirlwind reveals a mysterious object. In one quiet moment, when the sky seemed to freeze, a huge column of clouds appeared, stretching straight up from the ground like a vertical hallway connecting 2 worlds. No thunder, no wild wind, just a silence so deep it took your breath away. Seeing that, have you ever wondered why the sky sometimes chooses to speak by staying completely still? This isn't tied to one country. It's been seen in open areas around the world, from Canada to other sparsely populated places. Videos spread quickly on social media, showing the same tall, straight cloud structure that barely changes shape. That repetition makes people stop and watch longer, because it's nothing like the usual clouds that just drift sideways and fade away. In the shared clips, the cloud column moves slowly, almost like something is being lifted from inside it. There's no sign of strong swirling winds like a tornado, and no engine noise or airplane sound either. Some folks call it a cloud elevator, because it really feels like space is opening straight up, totally opposite from normal weather patterns. What would you think if you saw something moving against everything you've ever noticed in the sky? Scientific ideas came up fast. Scud clouds, or maybe a gustnado under special conditions. But many watchers point out those usually come with strong winds and unstable air, none of which show up in these videos. The calm all around the cloud column makes a purely physical explanation feel a little weak, leaving room for deeper thoughts. Right in that open space, the Bible speaks like an old reminder. Matthew 24-30 says, "Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." The clouds aren't just background anymore. They become the way something promised long ago shows up. Acts 1-9-11 keeps the thought going. He was taken up before their very eyes, and a cloud hid him from their sight. This same Jesus will come back in the same way you have seen him go into heaven. When you put that next to a perfectly straight cloud column, the idea of a path between heaven and earth is hard to ignore. Revelation 1-7 finishes the chain with strong words. "Look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him." If clouds were once the way he left, then seeing them in such an unusual shape today might be a quiet reminder that the old promise hasn't been forgotten. And if that cloud column really is a sign of what's coming, the question still hanging is, when the sky opens next time, where will it take us? 10. Picture of Jesus in the clouds over Bishop, California. One quiet moment in Bishop, the sky settled down, and the clouds slowly came together like they were arranged on purpose. They formed a shape that made a lot of folks stop and stare for a long time. In the soft, spreading light, a familiar outline appeared, clear enough to bring a sense of awe without needing any words. Have you ever felt like time just stopped so people could take it all in? Bishop, California, sits right next to the mighty Sierra Nevada mountains. It's used to clear skies and that special high desert light. But that day, the clouds weren't just background. They became the main thing everyone noticed. The picture spread fast on social media, way beyond the local area, and brought out all kinds of shared feelings from different groups of people. In the videos, the clouds looked like they were molded into a figure bowing in prayer, with the head surrounded by a soft glow, kind of like a halo. No sudden moves, No obvious digital tricks, just the clouds changing slowly in the sunlight. People who saw it described the same thing, a deep sense of peace spreading over them, something rare in these busy, noisy times. Matthew 24-30 says, "Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." When you put those words next to this cloud picture that looks so familiar, a lot of folks feel like the line between a symbol and something real gets pretty thin. Revelation 1-7 adds to it. "Behold, he is coming with clouds, and every eye will see him." Yes, amen. That Bible verse isn't just read as a prediction. It's like a mirror making people think about their own hearts when they see what might be a holy sign. Of course, some explain it with science. It's pareidolia, where our brains see familiar shapes in random patterns. But what stops a lot of people isn't just the shape. It's how the same peaceful feeling hits strangers all at once. When something touches so many people beyond their own little world, pure logic and doubt don't seem to stay in charge. Acts 1:11 reminds us, this same Jesus will come back in the same way you saw him go into heaven. Those words ring out like confirmation that clouds have long been tied to big moments in Christian faith. Whether you see it as a real sign or just a rare natural thing, the image in Bishop leaves a lasting echo. It doesn't force belief on anyone, but quietly asks a question. When something like this shows up right in front of us, will we receive it with open eyes and hearts? Or just walk on by like we never saw it? When looking back at all 10 of those events we just went through, from the ground-shaking explosions, the mysterious sounds echoing across the sky, to the unusual cloud shapes that don't look like anything normal, a bigger picture slowly comes into view. Each one seems separate, happening in different places, but when you put them side by side, they flow together like pieces of a puzzle being fitted back into a story that was written a long, long time ago. The Bible mentions more than once that the last days won't come quietly. Luke 21:11 says, "There will be great earthquakes, famines, and plagues in many places, and terrifying things, and great signs from heaven." When you line that up with what we've actually seen, from the earth to the sky, it's not hard to recognize a familiar rhythm of warnings and wake-up calls repeating again. Some signs make people afraid. Some images make the heart grow quiet, and others spark hope. Matthew 24-30 puts it plainly. "Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." No matter how you explain these things, they still put us face to face with a question we can't avoid. Where is our faith headed? In a world that's shaking so much, what's being asked of us isn't panic, it's to stay awake. Revelation 3:3 reminds us, "Remember therefore what you have received and heard, hold fast and repent." This is a time to slow down, make room for prayer, and put our trust in the Lord instead of in the fragile things people depend on. If any of what you've just seen has touched something deep in your thoughts or feelings, feel free to leave a short prayer or just a simple, honest thought in the comments. Those words aren't just interaction. They're a way for many hearts to turn toward the same faith, quietly holding each other up. To not miss any future messages, you can show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Every share is a chance to carry the message farther, reaching people who need a reminder or some comfort right when they need it. Finally, a sincere thank you to everyone who's listened all the way to this moment. May the peace of the Lord cover you and your family, just as John 14:27 promises, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you." May every step you take be guided in light and hope. Amen.
What the?
Oh, okay.
Oh my God!
Oh!
No, that's
How much time does humanity have left before the sky closes up? Red fire tears across the horizon. The ground shakes hard under violent steps, and up above, strange signs keep showing up one after another, like alarm bells ringing from heaven. Chaos isn't far off in the future anymore. It's pouring into the present, forcing everything to move fast and uneasy. From wildfires spreading wide, lava flowing down streets, ancient rivers drying up completely, to weird lights and shapes in the sky, 10 events coming one right after another, like puzzle pieces that can't be turned back. The Bible once said signs would appear in the sky before the big moment comes, and now it feels like each scene is speaking for itself. Do you feel something strange too? If so, please leave a prayer down in the comments before we go deeper into this story. Now, come along with me. Let's look at the truth hidden behind these mysterious events. We'll start right away with the very first one. 1. An uncontrollable fire swallows Palomares, Concepcion, Biobío region, Chile. The fire came out of nowhere, ripping through the night in Palomares, Concepcion, in Chile's Biobío region. It spread so fast, it stopped everyday life in a heartbeat. The sky turned strange colors. The air got thick with smoke, and in just a few hours, everything normal turned into pure chaos. Watching those scenes feels like time itself is speeding up. Biobío is full of hills and thick forests, where strong winds blow down the slopes and turn into perfect paths for the fire to race along. Once the different spots joined together, the flames didn't stay put. They chased houses and roads, forcing whole neighborhoods to run for their lives in the dark. Official news reports say thousands of people had to leave their homes, grabbing whatever they could before the fire hit. Huge walls of flame shot up hundreds of feet, painting the sky a deep red-orange, like an endless sunset. Thick smoke blocked out everything, burned down more than 250 homes, took at least 18 lives, and sent around 20,000 people fleeing. According to the latest reports, roads got blocked, cars were left behind, and folks had no choice but to run on foot as the fire closed in right behind them. In the middle of all this, a lot of people thought of Joel 2:30. I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood, fire, and columns of smoke. Those old words suddenly felt very real as huge smoke pillars rose up and the firelight glowed on the night clouds, like a warning written long ago. Some say it's just the result of tough weather, strong winds, and dry plants. But the size and speed of this fire went way beyond what anyone expected. So many folks can't see it as just another random disaster anymore. Revelation 8-7 talks about, the first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hail and fire, mixed with blood, and it was hurled down on the earth. A third of the earth was burned up. That picture gives a lot of people chills when they compare it to what's happening now. In Palomares, the fire didn't just burn trees. It burned away people's feeling of safety. This isn't just one news story anymore. It's like the first signal of bigger things coming, a wake-up bell ringing before what's next. And if this fire is only the beginning, what in the world is waiting when the ground starts spitting out lava? 2. Molten lava flooding the road. That morning in Hawaii started out tense, like a taut wire, with the ground trembling lightly and thick black smoke columns rising fast from the mountainside. The first flow of lava came without giving anyone time to get ready. Everything happened in a frantic rush, so fast that the footage could only capture the wild, unstoppable movement of nature gone out of control. Kilauea is one of the most active volcanic areas anywhere, where the underground structure is always unstable. When pressure builds up too much, lava bursts out as glowing red liquid, pouring down onto roads that are usually busy with cars. From the videos recorded, the lava reaches thousands of degrees Fahrenheit, flowing in long rivers for miles, completely blocking traffic and forcing people to abandon their vehicles and find a way out on foot. Thick black smoke covered the sky, blocking out the sunlight, while the road itself was melting right in front of everyone's eyes. Watching this wasn't just curiosity, it felt suffocating, as nature kept advancing foot by foot, never slowing down, never going around anything. You see cars left right in the middle of the road, not because they broke down, but because the lava got too close, making people choose between their stuff and their lives. In that scene, a lot of folks thought of Psalm 97:5. The mountains melt like wax before the Lord of all the earth. The picture of mountains melting that used to be just a symbol now looks very real in those bright red lava flows winding down the slopes, turning hard rock into liquid in an instant. Scientists say this is just normal geological activity for Hawaii, where volcanoes erupt pretty regularly. Still, what gives many people chills is how fast it's spreading and how big the impact is, way beyond what's usually seen in past eruptions. Micah 1-4 described it this way: "The mountains will melt under him. The valleys will split open, like wax before the fire, like water poured down a slope." That verse has a lot of people thinking deeper about what this all might mean. Lava isn't just a natural event. It's a force that doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care about roads, cars, or people's plans. It just keeps moving forward quietly, leaving fear and emptiness behind. That uneasy feeling creeps into every frame, making it impossible for anyone to stay calm and detached. If wildfires can turn the sky red, then this lava is melting the very ground beneath our feet. And when even the things that seem most solid can change in a moment, the question isn't why anymore. It becomes, what else will be revealed when the Euphrates River starts to dry up? 3. Mysterious gold bars under the Euphrates River. No big explosion, no dramatic collapse, just the water slowly going down, revealing things that had been hidden for thousands of years. As the Euphrates riverbed cracked and dried out, shiny metal objects suddenly appeared, enough to make anyone stop and wonder, is this just an archaeological find, or part of something much bigger? If you stood there looking at it, would you think of treasure or of a warning? The Euphrates, the river tied to the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia, has dropped to record low levels because of long drought and climate change. Sections that used to be dozens of feet deep are now just dry river bottom, exposing caves, stone walls, and structures that water covered for centuries. Southern Iraq has quickly become a hotspot for archaeology, where layer after layer of history is being uncovered. During the surveys, digging teams found rectangular metal bars, smooth on the surface, heavy in the hand, neatly stacked under the old mud. Early guesses say each one weighs from a few pounds to over 10 pounds, and people are talking about dozens, maybe even hundreds of them altogether. Rumors of a gold rush spread fast, bringing arguments, wild guesses, and old stories about ancient curses. Archaeologists are staying careful. Some experts think these could be ritual objects, wealth hidden during wartime, or precious metal used as money by ancient kingdoms. But when you ask them exactly where the bars came from, the answer is usually, "We don't have enough information yet," or "We need more time to study them." That uncertainty only makes the mystery feel deeper. Revelation 16:12 mentions something striking. The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. The verse doesn't talk about gold, but it clearly describes the river going dry as a step toward bigger events. Because of what's happening now, people are quoting this Bible passage more than ever. Some folks push back and say the drought and these finds are just natural things, nothing more. But then Revelation 9:14 puts the Euphrates in another key spot. Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. When the same place keeps showing up in such important verses, it's hard to call it pure coincidence. In the end, gold is just stuff. It can stir up greed, but that alone doesn't explain why the Euphrates carries so many layers of meaning. The river drying up seems to be the real signal, and the gold bars are just the first thing to come into view. like a side sign that comes along with it. And if under this ancient river there isn't only gold, but other living, strange things waiting to be seen, then what's the next question? When nature starts rearranging itself in ways that are hard to understand, is the real message really in the things that are shining right in front of us? 4. Strange behavior of little turtles, revealing a mysterious ritual. In the middle of a quiet stream, where the water only ripples gently with the current, this scene appeared out of nowhere. Dozens of turtles gathered together, touching shell to shell, forming an almost perfect circle many feet wide. Anyone who happened to see it would find it hard to explain with plain common sense right away. There was no chaotic noise, no panic among the animals, just a strange, steady order that made you wonder. Turtles in both freshwater and coastal areas do have certain social behaviors tied to breeding, navigation, or seasonal shelter. But gathering this tightly and arranging themselves in such a precise circle is something very rarely seen. In that moment, many people felt it wasn't just watching some natural animal behavior. It was like standing in front of some ancient ritual being performed again. What caught the eye most was the very center of the circle. 2 turtles were stacked on top of each other, almost completely still, while all the others kept an even distance, forming a clear boundary. The water kept flowing quietly underneath. Leaves kept drifting by, but the whole formation never broke apart. What would you think if you saw that kind of order in nature? A place that's usually so random. Biologists try to give careful explanations. Some say it could be a rare behavior, or maybe a response to changes in water temperature or magnetic fields. Others mention defensive instinct, turtles forming a tight shape to lower the chance of being attacked. Even so, the experts themselves admit that the level of perfect timing and geometry in this circle goes way beyond what's normally described in scientific papers. Job 26:10 once described something worth thinking about. He has inscribed a circle on the face of the waters, at the boundary between light and darkness. The Bible verse isn't talking about animals, but it does speak strongly about boundaries, about order being placed right on the wild, messy surface of the water. When the turtle's circle appeared exactly in that space, it's hard not to think about natural cycles and limits. Leviticus 11:29 mentions reptiles in the context of separation and order. These also are unclean to you among the creeping things that crawl on the ground. The passage is usually understood as a set of laws, but it also quietly suggests that even the smallest creatures still belong to a larger system of classification and rules, bigger than we often realize. Science may call this instinct a survival response, but the perfect completeness of the circle makes many people think of a closed cycle, not random, not total chaos, but more like a quiet sign, reminding us that all life moves in certain preset loops. And if right under the water, animals are showing this kind of hard-to-understand order, then when we look up at the California sky, where mysterious streaks of light keep appearing, what other kinds of order might still be revealed? 5. Mysterious light streaks in the Sacramento, California sky. The night sky we all know so well suddenly looked different when bright streaks appeared and vanished in just a few breaths. Curiosity spread fast, because that moment made us realize there are still things happening beyond our usual control and understanding, even in a world covered with modern technology. The event was caught in the western United States, an area where the sky often sees planes, satellites, and tech tests. But this time, the light streaks didn't follow any normal path. They cut across thick clouds at an angle, then suddenly went out at the horizon, leaving a dark space that made lots of folks rewind the video over and over. From the videos going around, the lights could be seen from hundreds of miles away. Some clips show them flashing behind dark clouds, speed changing all the time, sometimes stretching into long streaks, sometimes shrinking like falling points of light. That inconsistency got the online community quickly split into different opinions. Some said it was just commercial satellites flying in formation. Others mentioned space debris or rare atmospheric events. On the forums, people slowed down every single frame. But each theory led to a different answer. There's no single conclusion, only an uneasy feeling that every explanation still leaves something missing. Many people brought up Matthew 24:29 inches that moment. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. The Bible verse doesn't talk about technology or satellites, but it does describe big changes up above that shake our normal order. Some folks push back, saying today's man-made lights can easily create confusing pictures. Still, the people closely watching this event keep asking about the sudden changes in direction and speed, things that don't match any announced schedules. That uncertainty keeps the debate alive instead of ending it. Luke 21:25 gives another reminder. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity. When you put those words next to the widespread, anxious feeling all over social media, the emotional match feels stronger than any technical details. Whether you see them as a natural event or something beyond our current explanations, those light streaks shook up our usual sense of safety. They remind us the sky isn't just a quiet background, it's also a place where signs can appear out of nowhere. And if the lights in the west were just the beginning of a series of events up high, then when stranger messages show up in the Canadian sky, how far will this story really go? 6. Strange symbols carrying a mysterious message in the Canadian sky. One cold night, the Canadian sky suddenly looked different. The clouds slowly parted, revealing shapes that didn't match any normal flight path we know. The lights didn't flash or explode, they just hung there, quietly, filling the air with a strange feeling and bringing up all kinds of questions nobody could answer yet. Against that calm, quiet sky, one shape slowly became clear. Bright letters, like they were drawn with silver light, lined up neatly with even spacing between them. They didn't disappear right away. Instead, they moved slowly, slow enough for people below to really see them, and slow enough to make your breathing feel a little tight. Once the videos started getting shared, the reaction spread fast. Lots of folks said they saw strange XI letters. Did you see that too? Those words kept popping up again and again on forums. Not so much to find the real answer, but just to make sure other people felt the same uneasy feeling. Scientists quickly came out with explanations. They talked about rocket launches, light reflecting high up in the atmosphere, and swirling patterns left by leftover fuel. According to the technical analysis, under the right conditions, light can create shapes that look intentional, even though it's really just physics doing its thing. Still, what makes many people hesitate isn't where the light came from. It's how sharp and clear those letters were. They didn't twist, didn't fade or blur. They stayed solid for many seconds, unlike most things we've seen recorded before. That little bit of doubt makes the scientific explanation feel not quite enough to calm the growing nervousness. Daniel 5:5 once described a similar moment. Suddenly, the fingers of a human hand appeared and began writing on the plaster of the palace wall, right opposite the lampstand. And the king saw the hand that wrote, letters appearing out in the open, in front of many watchful eyes, bringing that exposed, can't look away feeling. Joel 2:30 keeps coming up too as another reference. I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood, fire, and columns of smoke. The verse doesn't explain how it happens, but it puts something strange up high as a sign people can't ignore. Whether it's a technology coincidence or something beyond what we expect, those symbols in the northern sky left a mark that's hard to shake. It's like a line of writing hanging there, not explaining, not forcing anything, but strong enough to make the usual order feel a little unsteady. And now that these letters have appeared among the clouds, how much further will this story go when even more symbolic shapes, like the lion cloud at Angkor Wat, start showing up? 7. Strange jellyfish-shaped cloud at Angkor Wat. That moment happened in a rare, quiet reverence at Angkor Wat. Up in what seemed like an ordinary sky, a cloud with a very unusual shape slowly became clear. It didn't drift away fast, and it didn't just disappear. It just hung there, as if something was holding it in place for a reason. Seeing it made you feel like you were standing in front of some kind of sign that doesn't have a name yet. The cloud looked like a jellyfish, with a round, soft bell up top, and long, thin streaks of cloud hanging down below, like tentacles floating in the air. It stayed right next to the top of the ancient temple spire, right where the sacred old stones meet the wide-open sky. The color of the cloud changed slowly, from milky white to soft gray, then giving off a gentle pale green glow before it started to fade. The scene wasn't dramatic or overwhelming, but it created this dreamy, hard-to-explain feeling. The movement was so slow, it almost seemed still, like time itself was being stretched out. The person filming didn't say a word, because the shape was too clear to call it random, but also too delicate to say for sure what it meant. People often mention Job 26:8-10 when this picture spreads around. He wraps up the waters in his clouds. Yet the clouds do not burst under their weight. He marks out the horizon on the face of the waters for a boundary between light and darkness. The way the cloud and water seem to blend together brings to mind a kind of order that's been set up, where the line between what we can see and what we can't becomes very thin. Ecclesiastes 3:1 comes up too, as a gentle way to understand it. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. That jellyfish cloud, appearing for just a short moment before vanishing, makes many people think of cycles, things that come and go, never in a hurry, but impossible to hold on to. From a science point of view, some weather experts say it could be a type of convective cloud, combined with high-level winds and just the right amount of moisture. The light reflecting at sunset can easily make familiar shapes appear, and our brains naturally try to fill in the missing lines. Still, many others feel that the exact position and shape make a purely scientific explanation feel a bit incomplete. Angkor Wat has always been tied to spiritual symbols and cosmic cycles, so a cloud, looking like a sea creature appearing in the sky above that ancient place, feels more like a hint than pure chance. Between those two ways of seeing it, the jellyfish cloud doesn't force you to pick one single answer. It stayed long enough to be noticed, then quietly slipped away, leaving behind the feeling that some kind of larger order is working silently behind the things we can see. And as that fragile image melted into the sky, will the green light beam that appeared in Côte d'Ivoire go on to reveal yet another layer of meaning in this growing series of signs? 8. Strange green object in the sky over Côte d'Ivoire. That moment felt like a little miracle in everyday life. The sky was still covered with thick, heavy black clouds when a pure green beam of light suddenly shot straight down, lighting up the front of an old church in Côte d'Ivoire. The light wasn't blinding. It was soft and deep, giving everything a sacred feeling that made the whole place go quiet. This church is already known for having strange, holy events tied to green light in the past. Right in the middle of a big prayer gathering, the thick clouds parted into a perfect round opening, showing an unusual blue sky behind them. Then the beam of light came down exactly along the center line of the church, like it was guided on purpose. The light didn't stay still. You could see it clearly for maybe 30 or 40 seconds. Then it slowly faded and disappeared as the clouds closed back up. What it left behind wasn't shock or amazement, but a quiet, deep feeling inside. You could sense that moment without needing words, just a hard-to-name emotion. People often bring up Acts 9:3 when this video spreads around. As he was approaching Damascus on the road, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. In the Bible, light doesn't just shine to show the way. It wakes people up and guides them, showing up right when someone is at a crossroads. Then there's Revelation 21:23 that takes it even deeper. The city does not need the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and the Lamb is its lamp. That picture of light coming from something beyond the usual sun or moon makes a lot of folks think of a source way above natural rules. From a science point of view, some researchers say this could be a rare optical effect. Sunlight gets bent strongly through thick clouds and high humidity, creating a sharp, deep green beam. Under just the right conditions, it can appear for a short time and stay very focused. Still, the people who were actually there keep pointing out how perfectly timed and perfectly placed it was. The light didn't scatter everywhere. It landed right on the church during a religious service. That kind of coincidence makes many see it as more than just a physical event. They feel it's a gentle, holy reminder. Between those two ways of looking at it, the green beam still sits right in the middle. It doesn't deny science, but it also opens a door for faith, where light is understood as God's presence and guidance in the darkness. And after that green light faded away, will the image of a snake face coming out of fire in California, along with those trumpet sounds, keep pushing this whole chain of signs towards something darker and more like a warning? 9. Giant snake face fire streak in the California sky. Up in the California sky, a streak of fire suddenly flared up, twisting and turning like it was trying to take shape. A long, echoing sound carried far, like a drawn-out trumpet note hanging in the air. Seeing that, you can't help but wonder, is this just nature doing its thing, or is some kind of message being sent? California is no stranger to strange things in the sky, from odd flashes of light to mysterious sounds that get people arguing. This time, the sky didn't just glow. It almost looked like it was drawing a face, not some blurry shape, but clear lines that gave folks the creeps, making many people stop and stare for a long time. When people zoomed in on the videos, the fire streak started showing a wide head and a long, curving line behind it, just like the body of some huge creature. The feeling of fear spread fast, because that image taps into our oldest instinct when facing a giant reptile. The trumpet sound coming at the same time made the whole moment feel heavy, like a warning hanging there in the sky. In the hours after, social media exploded with arguments. Some said it was just a light effect or a meteor burning up in the atmosphere. Others went frame by frame, checking angles and lighting. Then one comment kept coming up, said pretty calmly, "Most people think they saw the head of a giant snake." Different opinions didn't calm anyone down. In fact, they made the uneasy feeling even stronger. Revelation 12:9 comes to mind first, then hits like a charge. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. The snake image stops being just a symbol. It carries real meaning of opposition, rebellion, and deception. Then Revelation 8-6 gets mentioned in the same warning tone. Then the 7 angels, who had the 7 trumpets prepared to sound them. In the Bible, trumpet sounds aren't there to make the sky pretty. They mark serious turning points. When that sound lines up with a frightening shape, the idea that it's all just random starts feeling hard to accept. From a warning point of view, that fire streak feels more like a reminder of the final enemy than some harmless event. It doesn't force us to believe right away, but it does make us pay attention. And while eyes were still glued to the California sky, something else was already starting to appear in Florida. Strange swirling clouds waiting to be looked at straight on. 10. A strange glowing cloud showering down on people in Florida. The scene opens in a rare kind of quiet. Along the Florida coast, the sky seems to slow down. The light gets softer. The wind dies away. In that moment, do we ever wonder why sacred things so often show up when people least expect them? A bright white cloud pulls away clearly from the rest of the clouds, hanging lower than the palm trees along the shore. It doesn't have the gray of a storm, nor the heavy look of rain clouds. It's pure and bright, almost glowing. A slow, even swirling motion starts, round and calm, giving a sense of order instead of chaos. As the vortex steadies, small ball-shaped lights begin to appear and float gently down. The spheres don't rush or scatter wildly. They separate one by one, like they're being released on purpose. People who saw it describe a peaceful feeling mixed with awe, as if the space around them was opening to another layer of reality. Job 38:1 comes to mind as an old reminder. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, "In the Bible, a whirlwind isn't just weather. It's the setting where God's voice comes through, reminding people of the limits of what they can understand." Florida is no stranger to rare clouds like hole punch clouds or horseshoe vortexes, and science has its own explanations for those. Still, the even glow of this cloud and the spheres appearing all at once make many observers more careful about jumping to conclusions. Staying neutral here doesn't reject science. It simply admits there are still some blanks not yet filled in. 2 Kings 2:11 opens another thought. As they were walking along and talking together, suddenly a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them. And Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Once again, the whirlwind becomes a bridge between earth and heaven, between the finite and the eternal. From a faith perspective, the vortex doesn't have to be seen as something scary. It feels more like a symbol of presence, of moving upward rather than falling apart. The spheres, in this view, aren't threatening. They're like little messengers, reminding us that heaven isn't as far away as we often think. Job 37:5 is recalled at the end as an invitation to reflect. God thunders marvelously with his voice. He does great things we cannot comprehend. When 10 different phenomena have appeared, one after another, from fire, sound, to whirlwind and light, everything seems to be gathering toward one point. And the real question isn't up in the Florida sky, it's deeper inside us. Are we ready? After going through those 10 events, everything quiets down, like we all need a moment to catch our breath. From fierce streaks of fire and booming sounds in the sky, to pure light and strange movements we can hardly name, none of it stands alone. They connect together into one smooth line of signs, like pieces slowly fitting into a much bigger picture. When you look at the whole thing, one main thread stands out. The chaos isn't meaningless, and the beauty doesn't just happen by chance. Matthew 24:6-8 already warned us, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but that's only the beginning of birth pains." What we've seen feels like a wake-up call, not to scare us, but to stir up hearts that have been sleeping. At the start of the chain, there's fire, smoke, and noises that make people uneasy. At the end, there's light, whirlwinds, and a stillness that points towards something heavenly. Revelation 3:20 comes like a familiar whisper. "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him." That order shows the message doesn't end in destruction, it opens a way forward. The real heart of it isn't about explaining each event with science or pure faith alone. It's about how each of us responds deep inside. Joel 2:12 puts it right at the center. "Even now, declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting and weeping and mourning." This isn't a call to panic. It's an invitation to turn back, get our lives in order, and prepare our spirits. And in that preparation, hope is still the foundation. Luke 21:28 says it plainly. "When these things begin to take place, stand up and lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near." In the middle of all the shaking, faith doesn't pull us deeper into fear. It lifts our eyes above the fear and toward the promise ahead. Now that all the signs are laid out side by side, the question isn't what happened anymore. It's what are we going to do about it? Each of us gets our own quiet moment to think it over, to whisper a private prayer, or to write down one honest plea as a real step of faith. If these thoughts touch your heart, sharing the message is one way to walk alongside others, so no one misses these important reminders in such a sensitive time. That kind of connection isn't just following along, it's waking up together. To close, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone who walked this whole journey with me, and a prayer that every family stays safe and wrapped in peace. Revelation 22:12 finishes with a scene still waiting. Behold, I am coming soon, and my reward is with me. When everything comes together, what will humanity face next? Salvation or judgment? Amen. Have you ever wondered why the sky suddenly starts sending strange signals? The ground just caves in without warning, and the ocean flashes like it's hiding something. Everything happens fast, one thing piling on top of another, making it feel like time is shrinking, and the future has never looked more unclear. The uneasiness spreads quickly. Nobody gets to just stand on the sidelines. Strange swarms of creatures explode in number. Unknown objects rip through the sky. Weather breaks into pieces, lights rise up from the bottom of the sea, messages appear in the clouds. Deserts start to bleed. Clouds take on shapes you can't even name. The earth opens its mouth and swallows things whole. Fire shoots up right in the middle of ice and snow. And glowing rings follow planes in the sky. It all seems to be growing, repeating, crashing into each other, like a long list of warnings that's been written in the Bible for ages. Are we just seeing coincidences, or is this a real warning? Before we get into each strange event, please leave a prayer in the comments below. Just a simple way to show your faith. And now, so you don't have to wait long, we're going to move right to the places where each of these signs will slowly show its true meaning. Let's start with 1. Thousands of bugs cover an entire house, creating a chaotic and terrifying scene. If you woke up one morning and the first thing you saw wasn't sunlight or your usual furniture, but thousands of creatures crawling all over the walls, curtains, and floor, could you stay calm? The air gets thick. A strong bad smell sticks to every breath, and the sense of danger spreads faster than you can even think. That video captures the moment and won't let you look away. It's like a warning that jumps out of everyday life, sudden, with no time to dodge it. That morning in Sochi didn't start with sunshine or the sound of waves from the Black Sea. It started with a suffocating feeling coming straight through the phone screen. Just the first few seconds of the video make your heart sink as dark patches crawl across the whole frame, moving non-stop like one living mass. There's a moment you wonder, if that door opened right in front of you, would you be calm enough to just stand there watching? Sochi sits right next to the thick Kolchak forests, where the damp, dense environment makes it easy for insects to multiply. In recent years, big swarms have been showing up more often, from moths to mosquitoes, spreading along the Black Sea coast and even reaching the Kamchatka Peninsula. In the video, bugs completely cover the curtains, spill down onto the floor, turning a normal living space into total chaos, with no way out. The woman who recorded it said she woke up surrounded by a heavy, awful smell that hung in the air like toxic fog. Bugs kept banging into walls and furniture, making dry, scratchy noises. The whole room, just a few dozen square feet, felt impossible to breathe in. The pest control team took hours to clean it all up, but the uneasy feeling doesn't disappear that quickly. The scene reminds people of Exodus 10:14-15, where locusts covered the land of Egypt, so many that there had never been anything like it. Those old words sound like an echo now, because what's on the screen today isn't in some faraway desert. It's happening in a modern city, right in front of today's cameras. Some folks say it's just the result of warmer weather and natural cycles getting messed up, nothing beyond nature. But when similar swarms keep coming, thicker and across more areas of Russia, that explanation starts to lose its power. Revelation 9:3-4 describes small creatures given power to harm, not with great force, but with quiet, overwhelming numbers. Matthew 24:7 speaks of famines and upheavals spreading one after another as connected signs. That insect swarm isn't just a nature event. it feels more like a warning about how fragile our normal way of life really is. When even the tiniest things start getting out of control, what happens if that line keeps getting pushed further? This may not be the final answer, but the cold shiver down your spine is real. If these swarms don't stop at one coastal city and turn into a worldwide wave, how will we face it when the door no longer